Hey everybody, and welcome back to Chat with AP. I'm your host, Amanda Pearch, and fellow curious mind. This is where we kick back, have fun, and dive into all kinds of conversations, whether it's business, life hacks, marketing, podcasting, or just a bit of random banter. Get comfy and let's see where today's chat takes us.
There was some, a really rough time over the last 2 years. It's really good now. Everything's great, but we went through this time where I was having a lot of trouble with cash flow, especially getting into these big commercial projects. It came at the same time where I was buying my building, so I had a bunch of cash reserved, but it was for the down payment. And then, taking on all these commercial jobs, you don't get a deposit. You got to float for anywhere from 30 to 90 days before you get any sort of payment. So I was getting hit from both angles during that time, and paychecks were bouncing, and the morale in the office was low. I had bills piling up. I had GCs that I was working for saying, hey, the check's in the mail, right? And it'll be there this day, and those days would come and it would just never show up. And it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that money that was coming was all money I had already spent, right? So I'm just waiting to get reimbursed, and I'm just trying to float through this thing. It got very dark for a little while, but what I did, which is what a lot of people will do, is I immediately just went down to my knees and, closed the door, went to a place, my bedroom or wherever I could just be alone and just talk to God and ask for help. And, especially not like financial help, but help with my brain, with my mental. How do I get through this? Because like I said, I got all these people depending on me and the decisions that I've made. And now I've found myself in a position where I have no money. I'm scraping by to make my payroll in the summertime. My payroll is $50,000 to $75,000 a week. And there's oftentimes I got to pay people on Friday, and on Monday I have $0, or on Thursday I have $0. But it would always show up, and I'm talking about a matter of with 10 minutes to spare type thing. So, I've always been really close to God. I've always been very faithful, but that period of time, which was like a year and a half ago, I got even closer, and it worked. And I talk about it all the time. You have to bet on yourself, but you also have to have faith, right? So, and for me, it's very important to pray just as hard when things are good as when they're bad, and vice versa, right? Sometimes you're asking for help, and sometimes you're just giving praise. So it's not always easy. I've had to seek out, financing partners and all that stuff. But anytime I need something, I just pray and pray and pray, and the door's open. It's the wildest thing. And I might just barely make it, but I always make it. So the next time things get rough, I don't even sweat it anymore because I know I'm going to make it. So
Welcome Jeremy Talboy to Chat with AP. Well, I love your attitude of gratitude. That's one thing I'm big on as well, giving thanks. You know that there is a recipe to blessings, and faith is a large part of that.
Yeah.
You have to have that faith, which is oftentimes blind, seek the scripture, and then through repetition, essentially brainwash yourself into those positive vibes in order to follow through to the blessing. What is it they say? Think no thought said. Even if you have those negative or those holding you down thoughts, do not speak them. Mm-hmm. Don't let them leave your head. Don't give them the energy. Don't give them the power. Squash them right then and there. Talk about something that you kind of hold on tight to inside. Inner peace is something that I try desperately to find. And I am only here with age recognizing the difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is an outside job. Joy is an inside job. So talking about joy in life, what gives you life, Jeremy?
My family, first and foremost, and that doesn't just mean my wife and 3 beautiful kids. It's my whole company, right? Because I treat them like family. I know that without them, I couldn't be successful. But yeah, it's funny. Things change when you have a family. Your perspective changes. You take decisions a lot more seriously. When I see my little girl walk into a room after, work and she comes running up to me, I think about that. Those moments play in my head when I'm confronted with a big decision. Even small decisions. And it just gives you a whole different perspective on things. But that is really what gives me peace and joy is, you know, being able to put my phone down when I get home from work and just live in the moment. You know, you hear it a lot of times from older people that it goes by so fast. Don't blink, be present, be there. And it's so hard with these phones. It is hard. And 99% of the stuff I do at home on my phone is work related, which is important. But at the same time, whatever I'm missing from my 2-year-old or my 7-year-old or my 12-year-old, I'm not going to get that time back. Right. So being able to recognize that and act upon it and just put your phone away and enjoy your kids, that's what gives me peace and joy, is those moments with them. Teach my kid how to play baseball, teach my daughter tumbling, you know, playing hide and seek, playing Clue, you know, watching movies.
They still play Clue these days?
Yeah.
It's still a valid
My 12-year-old loves it. She loves it. And, you know, it's not my favorite thing to do, but it's awesome for her. So it's great for me. And we do, even on weekends, if we don't have to wake up early, I'll just take them to Walmart and we'll just,
oh gosh,
we'll just go to the toy section
halls,
and the kids will be riding bikes through the store until we get yelled at, you know, and they love it. And those are the things that I really work hard for. That's my...
You know, they will remember that forever, even though it's little and small. I remember on rainy days, my parents used to take us to the mall to run around similarly. And I remember riding the escalators up and down on a rainy day to this day.
Over and over.
Over and over.
So I just taught my 2-year-old how to, you know, not be afraid of the escalator. And every time we go to the mall, it's up and down 10, 15, 20 times, and she'll love it. Speaking of that, we went to, talking about things that they'll remember forever. We went to a concert on Tuesday. This guy by the name of Connor Price, he's kind of a up-and-coming hip-hop guy, but he's a very clean artist. So everybody there was kids and their parents, but he's very hip-hoppy, and he does songs with Forrest Frank, so very similar Christian-type stuff. It was great. I'm big on... When I go to events like that, I always find my way up to the front. Uh-huh. I sneak through, whatever it is. And so I got the kids all the way up to the front, and... one of my friends that was there with me was like, I don't think they're supposed to be up there, you know, and he's like looking at the security guards and stuff, and he's starting to kind of get anxious, like, we're going to get in trouble. We're going to get in trouble. But I looked at him and I said, you know what? I really don't care, because those kids are going to remember this forever. I mean, they were front row. They could touch him. I mean, he was right in front of them. And for me, that's what's important. They're going to remember it forever. So I'm glad you said that.
I thought you were going to tell me that you threw your 12-year-old up on a mosh pit because you took him to the front and then mosh.
Yeah, no.
Just sent them on their way.
Nope. No, not this time at least.
I want to ask you another question, if I may, leaning towards stewardship and family and starting your business. You mentioned that you started your business before you started your family.
I did.
And I'm curious, having started a business, I myself, I'm not married and I don't have children, but I can only imagine what it would be like running what I do now plus. So if I may ask you, just out of curiosity, what was it like having established your business and then beginning your family? Because you're growing two really important entities. Yeah. You're growing human life and your legacy, and then also, you know, what's earning the bread and butter for your family.
Yeah. So, you know, it was something that was new to me. Both of it was new, but it went hand in hand and they played off of each other. Having a family made me a better business person. And being a business person, I think, made me a better father. So they kind of just played off of each other. Because like I said earlier, having other people rely on you will change your perspective. It'll make you really, you know, look at things from a different angle and consider everything before you make a decision. So I will say when my family came along, I was, I don't know, let's say 6 or 7 or 8 years into my business. That's when everything really took off, because I started taking it more seriously. Because before that, all I really had to do was keep it afloat and keep myself, double cheeseburgers is all I needed, you know? But now I got college, I got a house, I got this, that, the third, health insurance. So it forced me to level up.
I was just about to say that.
It forced me to. It forced me to grow up. It forced me to level up. So obviously it was a blessing, but it was a game changer, and it was fantastic, and it's all part of the plan, right?
And it's like a different kind of level up, because you mentioned the responsibility is different and greater with all the dependents is a whole nother world.
It is. And it was awesome. That chapter of the book came at the right time.
Would you hop into my DeLorean with me, Jeremy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's hop in and let's go back. I know the rear view mirror is smaller for a reason, But I'm curious, having, established the things that we just talked about, your business and your family, if you could go back 10 years ago and tell yourself anything, what would it be?
Relax. It's going to be just fine.
That came so quickly out of your mouth.
Because it's something I contemplate all the time. Back when I was 30, I was very stressed out all the time. Everything was a fire. Everything was catastrophic, the end of the world. I've been through so much, and I've made it through it, like I was talking about earlier with the cash flow thing. I have been equipped with all the tools and resources that I need to solve any problem. Now, there's little problems, and there's big problems, and there's problems in between. But there is nothing that I can't get through, either, by myself or with my team. And that's what I mean when I say resources. One of my mentors, Ed, he used to tell me, you can't eat the elephant in one bite. Break things down into chewable chunks. And I've really been able to master that. When something big is in front of me, being able to, instead of looking at the whole picture and freaking myself out, it's just do the next right thing. Just do the next best thing and do that over and over and over until you get to the end. And being able to put that into practice, it gives you peace, which leads to joy, right? Like what we were talking about. So again, no matter how big the problem is, just attack it pragmatically, one step at a time. And through a series of wins like that, you gain the confidence where I'm at now, where it's like, I really don't care what happens. I can fix it. I can figure it out. I can solve it. It's not a big deal. So that's something I would tell myself back then, because I wouldn't know what to do. And it got to the point where you're taking little small problems and making them way bigger than they are. And that just messes with your psyche, and it steals your joy. And I don't want to do anything that steals my joy. That's what I'm here for. When I say my prayers, I always say, I'm going to get the most out of this experience in life. Thank you for creating this world, this universe. Thank you for giving me my opportunity to be here. Thank you for blessing me with my family and everything you've blessed me with. And now it is my goal and my objective to get the most out of what you've given me. And a lot of that has to do with joy. It's not just experiences and money and all that stuff. It's just enjoying what's been given to you. So
I think that you and I early on established being good stewards. And my mentor actually always says, be a good steward of your time, treasure, and talents. Yes. And it would appear that you are all three.
I try. I've still got work to do, but I'm on the right path. So thank you.
All right, get back in the DeLorean. I'm starting it up again, and we're going to the future. So now we're 50.
That's right. And, I've done a really good job of networking over the last couple of years. I'm a very shy individual by nature, but I've been able to come out of my shell because of what we talked about earlier. I can solve any problem. I know how to put it into chewable chunks, and that leads to confidence. So now I have the confidence to go talk to strangers and all that stuff.
And confidence is a stain you can't wipe off.
That's right. You don't ever lose that. That's exactly.
Do you know what? I was put in my place with some younger than me's the other day, some fellow creators. It's funny how time is, and I'm going off squirrel brain here. They're 25 years old. And I feel like we're around the same age, but we're not.
Yeah, my head is still 25.
My head is still 25. So I made that same comment, and I know you got it as a Lil Wayne lyrics. Yep. And these people just looked at me like I was nuts. Like they don't listen to Lil Wayne. No. It's something that isn't cool anymore. So
you used to listen to the Hot Boys back in the day.
Boys, what do you know about the Hot Boys? Oh my gosh, what you want, girl?
That's right. That's right.
That was skating
Come
ring
on
music.
now.
Skating
That's
ring
right.
music.
Walk into the skating ring.
Okay, so I'm going to spice it up here a little bit. Do you enjoy Mexican food?
Yeah, I love about 4 times a week.
Okay, you're from Beaufortish. Do you ever eat Mexican at Pepe's in Gwinnett, near Sugarloaf?
No.
Sugar? Oh my gosh, it's my favorite.
La
Pepe's.
Casa del Taco, right by your house.
Okay, never been there. Okay, the one right by the railroad tracks.
Yeah, right next to Mooney's.
Let's pretend actually, I think I did go there, and I didn't like it because when you walk in, it's just a big open dining room space. There's no let's say we're there. We go, we order queso, guacamole, and cheese dip guacamole, and they put salsa, of course. Yeah. What are you dipping your chip in first? So
I go with the cheese dip first, and then I layer that with the salsa. But to be honest with you, I like the pico, the chunky, fresh salsa. That's my favorite.
Well, that's all you if we go eat Mexican.
Okay.
So the chip, it goes in the queso first.
That's what I said.
Oh, right. I'm confirming that.
Okay.
But then you carry that queso into the salsa with you?
Yeah, but it's my own personal salsa.
Okay.
I'll take 2 salsas, please.
Okay.
One for her, one for me.
All right, cool. I do. I like the double dipping too, but not when I share with others.
Yeah.
So you're in good company. So
Good.
queso, salsa, and then last would be guacamole.
Yes, absolutely. So I like to just eat my guacamole with a spoon.
Very nice.
Yeah, I just eat it because, it's a superfood.
It is.
Yeah, and I feel like if you, water it down with the chips are not superfoods.
It's so easy to eat the whole dang basket.
Yeah.
It's like, are you from Georgia originally?
So I was born in Boise, Idaho. Moved all around as a kid. Pretty much grew up in Fort Lauderdale. And then I moved here when I was 11. And I've been here ever since. So I do consider myself a Georgian. Same. But the first 11 years are, all over the map.
I similarly was transplanted here when I was 5 years old from New Mexico because my dad works for Delta.
Albuquerque right there.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
That's
aardvarks.
Yeah, aardvarks. So I consider myself an Atlanta transplant is what I would say.
And you've been here since you were 5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I would consider that, yes, technically a transplant, but your roots are pretty deep here.
Yeah, I do like boiled peanuts.
Yeah.
And I say y'all
spicy,
on occasion.
On occasion?
On occasion. Mostly when I'm in settings with others, like, thanks y'all or bye y'all. I don't really say it myself.
We can solve everything for you. 5-star backyard. Start with us.
Ooh, 5-star backyard. Start with them. Good sizzle. Well, Jeremy, I have enjoyed hosting you today. Thank you for sharing your time, treasure, and talents with our listeners. For those who are curious about you and would like to connect, how can they do so?
Yeah, so www.northgeorgialandscape.com. On Instagram, we have nglm.landscapes, where I share a lot of my pictures. We also have Georgian Landscape, which is my design build side, and then my personal brand, which is Landscape Tycoon, where I share a bunch of business tips, entrepreneurial tips, and life tips for anybody in the home service industry.
Be sure to connect with Jeremy on social media, and you guys can always connect with me at amandapearch.com. Visit amandapearch.com to learn more about purpose-driven podcasting.